everybody, welcome to the Black Sheep Props channel. I'm Steve and I'm here to teach you the tips, tools, techniques, and materials for building your very own super cool EVA foam props. Now in our last episode, making an EVA foam Chainsword part 1, we got neck deep into this thing, man. And you saw how easy it was. You just saw that you got to be careful, you got to line up your edges once you layer everything up, and then you cut out the outside, bam, then it starts looking like a chainsword. Easy stuff. And now, in this episode, making an EVA foam Chainsword part 2, we're going to fall back over the side into the deep end, and we're going to knock the entire rest of this thing out in this episode. And it's going to be just as easy as what you saw so far. And all the techniques we use are the same techniques we've used in every other build, so this is totally doable. So that's it. Ready to hit it? Let's make something. Okay, now we took our template for the logo that's going to go on the side. And now what we're going to do is we're going to come in with our really sharp X-Acto knife and we're going to make a thin little cuts on every one of these marks. But we're not going to go all the way through the foam, and we'll show you why. So we're going to come in. All right, there we go. Now we're going to come in with our heat gun. We're going to let it get hot, and then we're going to hit these creases, and it's going to open them up. All right, there we go. Look at that. Nice. We've got the creases on there now. Now we're going to come in and we're going to cut the rest of this pattern and transfer the line over. All right, there we go. Look at that. That is nice. We've got it cut out. We've got the crease that we heat sealed that opened up. Look at that. Really nice. Pretty. All right, there we go. We've got our tiny little pattern cut. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come in with our X-Acto knife and we're going to do the lines for the eyes and the nose. Not bad. We got a little skull. We've got the lines for the eyes and the nose. That is a tough little detail, but pretty darn cool. Look at that. All right, not bad. There's 2 of them. All right, now we're going to do a couple of the tiny details that run down the blade. And what we did was we took a 4mm piece of foam. We drew out our 4 pieces. Now you can make these whatever size you want, as thick as you want, or as long as you want. These are the ones we drew out. And what we're going to do is we're going to simply come in with our long straight edge. Okay, now we're going to make a straight cut on all 4 ends. So there's a straight cut there. All right, so we did a straight cut on all of our ends, which is what we wanted. Now what we want to do with these center cuts is we want to cut a bevel cut. So saw through just like that. Let's do it again on this one. Holding it down so it doesn't squirm around while we're cutting, and we go right through. Now we have a nice bevel cut on this end. And the reason we did that is because this is going to come in and slide right into here, and we need this bevel to match this, which it does. So now when it lines up, it's going to have a really cool detail on it. Right. And now we don't need the bevels on these 2 short pieces, so what we're going to do is we're going to come in just like that. These are now going to come in here. So this angled cut right here is what we need for the end of this piece. So we're going to do the same thing. but we're going to make a guide for this one. We're going to line this up. We're going to there and right there. So now we know the angle. So we're going to come in, we're going to saw through just like that. Now look what we have. We have this nice edge right here. And when we slip this in, it's going to line right up with this edge. Look at that. That's exactly what we want, right in there like that. Okay, now a little bit just on the very end, all right, just like that. We're going to slide this in and we're going to get it. All right, there we go. Now we know we're started exactly where we want to start. And we're just... All right, there we go. Now we just follow our line all the way down. All right, there we go. All right, now we're going to do our two little details for the end. All right, here we go. Now this is going to be a really simple little detail too. We measured out what we wanted and we made our marks. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 shapes right there. Now, all right. Now 2 of them are going to be a little bit longer, so we're going to use this. And we want a beveled edge. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in with our knife. We're going to tip our knife so we can get a bevel. And we're going to slide right through like that. Right there. And you can measure this to be whatever shape you want. And that's what we want. We want it with that beveled front. See that angled front? Really nice. So we've got 2 of those. And now we're going to cut a piece for here, but we're going to cut it shorter because we only want a short one at the end of here. Now one of those squares is going to come in right down here to the end, just like that. So, all right, a little bit on the end, a little bit on the bottom. Now we're going to come in, we're going to put that right up against there. All right, there we go. We've got our details, our blade details on both sides. Really easy stuff. All we had to do was cut an edge here and a bevel down here, and then we stuck it all down. All right, now what we've decided we're going to do is we made this little collar here, which we liked, but we don't want it flush here. We want it raised up. So now, there we go. All right, there we go. Give it a couple minutes. Flush right against the edge, just like that. Make sure we've got a flush edge over here, which we do. See, we're stretching it a little bit just to line up exactly with where we want it. Just like that. Now we've got a smooth edge here and a smooth edge here. All right, there we go. Now we've got a nice little stepped edge right here, which is what we wanted. All right, here we go. These are our pieces for our handle. We've got a bunch of different thicknesses of foam. We're going to do this piece first. And we're going to do the same thing we just did. Perfect. We've got our hole about 1 inch or so deep, which is all we need. Now we're going to move back over to the bandsaw and knock out the circle. All right, we're going to tilt our table. That is nice. All right, now we left our table tilted and we drew this line around it, and we're going to follow that line around. All right, there we go. Look at that. That is perfect. 90-degree sides, hole through the middle, and then the other piece, we have a cool tapered cut on there. We have the hole drilled partially through it, and then we have the opposite bevel on this side. We're going to come in with our 220, take off some of those bandsaw marks. All right, now we're going to round one edge of this off with our Dremel. Let's seal it. since we just dremeled the edge. Slide this down like that. There we go. All right, there we go. Check it out. Pretty nice. All right. Okay, now we're going to move in next and we're going to start dealing with the handle. So here's our dowel. We've got it measured to where we're going to cut it off at. And then like that. There you go. Okay, there's our center mark. Now we're going to come in with our box cutter. And we're going to cut straight through the middle of our dowel, just like that. And we're going to follow very carefully. We're going to follow right through our Sharpie line all the way down. Just like that. We want to be able to sandwich this around our dowel, so we're going to have to draw a center line down the middle and Dremel out a trench. All right, there we go. Now we're going to get our dust mask on. We got it. Perfect. First try. All right, there we go. We've got it. Over it. Look at that. Man. Sad. All right, there we go. Look at that. That is mighty cool. All right, now we're going to be sliding this piece on. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to cut this off on the bandsaw right here. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Now this. Okay, these two pieces of contact cement are dry, but before we make contact, just to give us a little bit of extra. Okay, there we go. Now, and just like very cool. Very. Okay, now we've got our 4mm piece of foam we're going to use to wrap our handle. And if you've ever seen anyone wrap a golf club or a baseball bat, you start by cutting the end at a sharp tip like this because it's going to wrap on an angle. But what we also want to do is this, is we want to cut this with a slight beveled edge. And we're going to roll through our piece with our knife on an angle just like this. See how it's slightly tipped over? That's all right. There we go. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to wrap this around. Now foam bends, all right? So when we get to where it's going to line up with our other piece, we bend it just like that. And we're going to hold it while it bonds. See that? That's why foam is so cool. You can twist it. So now check it out. We started down here and we started wrapping. Now as we curve up, we're going to have these two bevels meet all the way around and it's going to give us a really nice effect. So let's get some more. You could use contact cement for this, but I like the super glue when I'm doing a wrap like this. It just helps with the helps with being able to go one step at a time. Now see how we're lining up down here where these two bevels meet? We're lining right up the whole way around, just like that. Okay, now we're going to hold it there while it bonds. All right, so now we're just going to take our time and we're just going to work all the way up to the end. Okay, there we go. Now we're wrapped all the way up to the top. Now we have to cut a long pointy taper just like we did at the start. So we're going to come in, we're going to make a mark, spin this around just like that. There we go. Now this line to this line. Just like that. Now that's going to be the end of our wrap, just like that. So now, So now when we wrap it around, all right, there we go. It's not perfect, but it's hard to get perfect when you're getting into these little corners. Now what we nice. See how it's got kind of like that angled corkscrew effect? And because we cut the beveled edges on both sides of our wrap, it's got this nice groove inside each of the sections. Look at that, man, that is nice. Really nice grip. All right. Okay, here are the 4 pieces that are going to make up our last detail. Heat it up. All right, that easy. Now we're going to wrap it around this piece of brass tube. Just like that. You just hold it there till it cools off, and then it cools off and stays in that shape. Just enough of a curve for us. Now we're going to come in with our super glue. All right, there we go. There. All right, now here we go. We're gonna need to put support in here. Our steel rod, what we're gonna do is we're gonna bend the end like this. And we're gonna bend probably right about there. We're getting there, we're gonna bend a little bit more right here. Okay, we're getting close. Bend that even further. Let's try this. All right, there we go. Now let's get our bolt cutters out. All right, there we go. That's our mark. Now we're going to come in with our Dremel, and we're going to Dremel out this trench, and we're going to embed this piece of metal. So, dust mask on. Just like, all right, now that is going to stick right out of our piece just like that. Look at that. All right. Trim out around our piece. This is very important. Going to stay about 1/8 of an inch to the outside of our line. Okay. We cut this straight edge on this side because we're going to come in and we're going to line this up flush right here, just like that. Everything's glued. Give it a few minutes till it dries. Let's line up our flat edge. Now we know right where we're going to be cutting, and we also know that we will not be hitting our metal pole because the metal pole is safely inside here. So what we're going to do is we've got some pretty tight cuts here, so we're going to go over to the scroll saw and we're going to knock this baby out on the scroll saw. Not bad at all. All right, there we go. Nice. Now we're going to come in with our 220 sanding stick. All right, there we go. Beautiful. Look at that thing shaped out, and it's stiff because it has a metal rod in it. Now we're going to get our heat gun going. We're going to seal this. All right, there we go. All right, let's clean up. This is a mess. All right, there we go. Look at that thing. Cool. It's got the little curved front. Now this is going to come in, we're going to drill in for this rod. We're going to drill straight down in and we're going to slip that down in there. Now, all right, we're going to come in, we're going to make a little pilot hole. We're going to get a little bit of cement on our dowel. All right, now what happened is this. Is the dry contact cement on this piece made contact with the dry contact cement on this piece, but we also put a little bit of wet cement on the steel dowel. That way when that went into the hole, the moisture content will evaporate on the contact cement that's inside the hole and after a few minutes, and it'll make contact on the inside. So not only do we have contact to contact, but the dowel on the inside is also going to have extra because of the wet dowel we slipped in there. Now we're going to give this whole entire thing a once over with the heat gun. All right, check that thing out. Good grief. That is nuts. I'm assuming this is a brake to stop the chainsaw blade from spinning. Really cool. And everything's really stiff because we've got support through here all the way into the handle, and we've got metal support in here. That is crazy beautiful right there. All right, there you go, nice and easy. You saw how easy that was. We just continued on through. We're careful with our details and everything went down perfectly. Got all the rest of the build done, got the lever put on, got all of our details put on. Really cool stuff and really, really fun. And that was it, not hard. So that concludes making an EVA foam Chainsword Part 2. Hope you liked it. If you did, give us a like, share us with a friend, and subscribe to this channel. And together we're going to go step by step through a lot more super cool builds so that you get the props you deserve. Thanks for coming. See you next time.